Against all odds, we return to you in person. I'm Will.
I'm Jonathan, and this is Roll for Crit. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Don't adjust your television sets. It's the 1960s, right? We here on YouTube are back in our own set, our original set, together in the same room. There's no blue screen. This is not a trick. There's no CGI involved.
We could not afford the holograms.
We tried. We really tried every possible avenue we could to not be in the same room together, but none of them worked out. And this is indeed our first video that we have recorded together in almost a year and a half, right?
Give or take,
like
yeah.
Pretty close to that. For reasons that I don't think you guys need us to go into.
But it's been long enough that we had to do a lot of adjusting to remember how to make this work right. As you can see, there are some little shifts with microphones as well as the set, which I'm sure there will be a bit more changes probably as we fine-tune it.
Yeah, I don't know how I should be talking, when I should say something,
yes,
or when I should pause or not pause. But we're gonna work those kinks out as time goes on. But this video, we kind of wanted to just say, hey, we're back, we're doing stuff, isn't this fun? And also, we kind of wanted to have a discussion about having the vaccine and most of our friends having the vaccine and what that means going forward, specifically because we also just had our first official game night since all this went down.
Now, you did go to like a small retreat with some of your old college friends, but this is the first time of like the usual time we had it with the people who were more constant. Like, because those people have been to a game night before, but
our regular gaming group, and you know, we had been getting together every so often playing games, and once in a while we might throw in like one or two masked people at a distance. But really, for the past year plus, we haven't played games with anyone besides us.
Right,
and a lot of it was over camera, virtually.
And those times were strictly for we need to play this for video. We have to do this.
Right.
This is more of like, yes, we do play things there that we're going to talk about, such as in our podcasts, or that we would actually review. But there are times we'll be like, we're going to play this because we want to play this. Board games. That's usually why you play them.
We want to actually enjoy a game, perhaps, if we can.
Perhaps.
So that's what we did. Like you said, we talk in depth on our latest podcast episode with special guest Jamie Stegmeyer. Go check it out, episode number 10. We talk about the games we played, but just we want to talk in this video about the general vibes of it, of what it's like to reintroduce ourselves to this environment. Did it feel weird?
Well,
did it feel good?
I do think one of the big things that came to me recently is that, especially with our usual group, and I think for the most part, a lot of people we tend to interact with, we've been keeping very up to date, being like, okay, you've gotten your first vaccine, because we've all been talking to each other about that. But I know there's some other people who I'm like, oh, I used to hang out and we used to play. I'm like, I haven't talked to them recently enough to know if they're vaccinated. So that's like, oh, I need to still worry about that. I can't just forget completely, just because we had our small group of like, okay, we can come back in together. We can laugh and be like, what should we get for dinner? And spend 5 minutes arguing because no one wants to actually just put their foot down and say, let's get pizza.
Yeah, all the good old times like that. Yeah, we do have a small enough, close enough group that we're aware of everyone's stages of that process. And it's not as if we're just saying like to 30 people we know, come on in and let us know if you're this or that or whatever. And to anybody watching too, I'm always like wary. I mean, we probably could have even started filming a little earlier, not that much earlier, maybe a little earlier, but I don't want anyone. I'm worried people will watch us and be like, it's over. Yeah, take them off. Let's run wild and free. Masks, that is. So like still be cautious. Don't do anything you aren't comfortable doing. But yes, we've reached this stage. It's working for us. And it felt, I think it did feel, it was definitely, there's a little bit of a social hurdle that I think beyond just board games, everyone kind of has to overcome now.
As you
relearning what to do.
Sort of said, because we have that smaller group, being able to say, are you guys comfortable now that once we all get vaccinated and it's been a week or 2 weeks, I don't mix it up. We were able to confirm that pretty easily. Asking 5 versus 50 people is a very big difference in the commitment.
Yeah. You want to start small, and I think that's what we've done. And also, we just our group has always been relatively close knit. Anyway, we're not super popular, so that's not something we really need to worry about. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I mean, going forward to obviously just have game nights in general, but also the chance. So many of these games that we just haven't been able to play, namely anything that's like a party game or a social deduction game that requires like at least 4 or 5 people to really work.
I would even argue sometimes really heavy games, because usually those are things are like, all right, this is a game night. We're going to get some drinks and dinner ready because you prepared for that. When during the pandemic, these games are like, I'm talking about things that are like, oh, if we try to fit this on a camera, it's not going to fit. You won't be able to read the text because, you have to zoom out to see all the components. And then like getting everyone together. This time we can be like, look, I brought this heavy game. If everyone ready for it, I'll explain it. We'll sit down. We understand it's going to take a huge chunk of the night, but it'll be worth it. So I think it's like both ends of the spectrum. It really was a bit more narrow what we were able to, I think, try to accomplish. And even when we did, it was harder with people. I think just not being in person. I know the example we always use is we were playing Sea of Thieves, which was perfect.
You
Not Sea
mean
of Thieves.
Forgotten Waters.
Forgotten Waters. That crossover's coming a little later.
Similar genre, yeah.
But they put in the legwork to make that playable in such a great way. But we had a moment where like, let's take a break, and then we never came back.
Right.
That doesn't. We have breaks when we're like, let's just.
You don't mean a break like next week we'll play. You mean literally like oh, let's take a 30-minute break.
Yes.
And come back that night. And sometimes people, because you're not in the same building together, sometimes you're like, maybe I'll just leave.
Or you take a nap because you're like, oh, I can get away with that. And it's an hour passes.
Oh, look, TV's on. I don't want to play this game anymore. We need to ensnare people. Yeah, I don't know how you feel, but in general, I have learned that after like 7 or 8 months of playing Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, virtual remote camera stuff, I am good to not do that for a long time. I want to touch pieces, even Forgotten Waters, which, as we said, has a great execution of remote play. I want to play that in person with everybody looking at the book and moving the figures. I want that. I want that back.
I still like the idea of doing some things digital. I think the problem was for me, it's like having one ingredient for 8 months of a meal. Like you need a mixture. And I do think I think I need, honestly, just my own personality and of naturally reclusing myself, that social forcing myself out and doing things. I think that's just better for me. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I want to never play a Tabletopia or even like any game digitally, especially some games like I think there are some games that work fantastically well that way. But I do think there's just something about that social aspect of sitting around the table and being able to catch up in person.
Seeing people's faces like in real time and like looking at them as they make a play is just, there's no replacement for that.
And I think it's all even bigger for the TCG, CCG thing. Like they have, I think it's Spell Table for Magic, and they've been running like video tournaments for other card games. When I've been doing it just feels so in person. Like, and people are talking to me and having fun, but it just, to me, because you're not looking at a face usually in those, you're just down here. It's just like you see the cards. It's not the same thing when you're sitting at a table. You're looking each other in the eye and talking. And I don't even mean from like looking for tells. It's just that interaction.
Human contact.
Yes.
It's as much as I don't like it, it sometimes is good for you. And like you said, I often before every game night, I'd say 7 out of 10 times I don't want to have game night. But 9 out of 10 times when it's over, I'm glad that we had it. Like it's hard for me. I need to, like you said, get that push.
Right. The one thing though, why I wanted to bring up the card game thing, which is different from the game night, is like we said, the game night is the close group of friends. We know each of them very well. And it's
different from going to
when
a
you
store.
go to a store to play, which I want to happen again. It's just very hard because depending on not even just, we are probably thinking more what state you're in. Country is a whole other issue.
Right. Yeah.
And that non-including distribution of things and stuff. It's something once again, I think you're going to have to think about, am I comfortable? Do I feel safe in that setting? And if not, for example, if it's a game night, it's probably a little bit easier. or it should be, I hope, to bring it up with people like, look, I'm not feeling comfortable with the setting. I know we're all friends. Can we maybe wear masks for another week or whatever you feel you need to bring up. Now in the setting like a game store, maybe try to talk to the owners and see like, will you guys still have a mask policy? Find out about that. And I know it's going to be very hard to ask these questions as someone who's never wants to do that, like over the phone with even regular customer service things. It's things I think we're still going to need to do and find out because we're not over it yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things that we need to navigate as a people right now, in a lot of different ways. Just like, again, just general social interactions are a thing that I know I struggle with before and after.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
we did not need a pandemic.
I think we have a bit of an advantage, yeah, because it's been a thing with us for a long time. But I know a lot of people are struggling with that, and it's just a process that's going to take time to figure out. But we are going to figure it out. I'm looking forward to more game nights because I feel like we've only just kind of uncorked the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And, soon we'll try to have bigger gatherings, longer game nights. Like I said, some of these bigger, heavier games I'm really excited to get into. And so that we can also much more easily do stuff for the channel and talk to you guys at home about them on our show. So a lot of things to look forward to. And it's very exciting. And hopefully you are watching us and enjoying seeing us back in the set right now. Also, as we said, you can check out our new podcast. There's been fun stuff. We've been talking about more things there. And if you can let us know in the comments what your experience has been like. Are you vaccinated? Are you doing game nights again? What has it been like for you? What have been some things that maybe, used to be easy or second nature that you're trying to navigate now differently? Or maybe you just jumped right back into it and it's like you didn't miss a step.
We always love to hear you. And of course, you can reach us in plenty of different places, like the comment section here, podcast, you can comment on there, or even just yell at us directly during when we're streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, tweet us. Just yell at us if you see us on the street.
We're in too many places now. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, that's why we did all the stuff with the end. It's like I said, it's been a while. We haven't done a video in a little bit. So thanks again. Leave a comment. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe. My name is Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this is Roll for Crit. Do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to our channel, or if you really like us, you can support us on Patreon. Become a high roller today for exclusive bonus content. We also have a podcast now. You can check that out at rollforcrit.com/podcast. Weekly episodes with special guests you definitely want to listen to.